subsequent to the presidential campaign in 2004, my time has been spent, a big chunk of it has been doing work overseas. The home audience just saw me traveling through Uganda. I've been doing humanitarian work, spent time in the Middle East, speaking in the Middle East and India, spent time in Asia, in Europe, speaking, meeting with leaders. And I think that has been enormously valuable in terms of adding to the depth and maturity of my view about what's happening in the world.
You just got back from Uganda. What was that like?
It was a terrible tragedy, humanitarian crisis that the world's not paying any attention to. I went there with the International Rescue Committee. There's been a civil war going on for about 20 years now, and there are over 1 million displaced people in northern Uganda, been herded into camps, terrible, difficult living conditions. Children are being abducted by the rebel army, turned into soldiers and sex slaves, and this is a place that America can make a real difference if we got involved.
Just like in the movie I saw on Franklin Street here last night, Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
All this.
It's heartbreaking. This is Uganda, the genocide in Darfur. There's so many places that America can make such a difference, and I think in the process restore the way the world should look at it.
And why do you think we're still hated around the world?
Why do I think America's still hated?
Yeah, we are.
Because I think that over the last 6 years, the Bush administration has shown a fundamental misunderstanding of what it takes to lead. I think to lead, you have to have more than power. You need power, and you need to be strong militarily, economically, et cetera. But I think you also have to show that you have the moral authority to lead. Countries have to naturally want to come to you. In order for that to be true, you have to sometimes act in things that are outside your own strategic self-interest, things like the genocide in Sudan.
When President Bush ran for office, he said something that grabbed me. He said, I think we need to be more humble in our foreign policy. Do you think 9/11, as horrible as it was, screwed up our value system about humility in the world and whether we're the boss of the world?
No, I think George Bush screwed up our value system.
What I've said, and I wrote this in a piece in the Washington Post several months ago, I've just said flat out I was wrong. I should not have voted for this war. It was a mistake, and I accept responsibility for that. And nothing mealy-mouthed about it. I think that it was a mistake for me to vote for this war. I'll let other people speak for themselves. I think we need a significantly different course than we're on right now. Now, I want to say I didn't vote for George Bush to make the mess that he's made, and he deserves the responsibility for that. And George Bush did mislead the country. That is true. But I was wrong in my vote, and I accept responsibility.
I think the war is a mess. The Iraq Study Group report makes that very clear. It's a very sobering indictment of what's happening in Iraq right now, and the desperate need to change policy. And it's amazing to me and completely unacceptable that the President of the United States, after having led us there, helped create this mess along with the help of others, is not taking responsibility and changing course.
The question is, what are we doing trying to referee a civil war?
Well, that's exactly what we're doing right now. And the one thing that the study group report makes clear, which should have been clear a very long time ago, is the fighting between Sunni and Shia, the sectarian violence that's going on in Iraq, the tribal wars that have gone on there for centuries. The idea that we can fix this with a military intervention is absolute nonsense, and we should have known that from the very beginning. The only solution is a political solution, which is in reconciliation, which is very, very difficult now. Well, we got to change, and we ought to change dramatically. I mean, I've been saying now for a year or more that we ought to have a significant drawdown of American presence there to send a signal that we're not going to be there forever and we're not there for oil. The President of the United States needs to say that very directly because the rest of the world does not believe it. They don't believe it.
He's permanent bases over there.
That's right, and he's wrong about that. We have to say the opposite, which is what the Baker Study Group said. We're not going to have permanent bases in Iraq, and we've got to start pulling our troops out. Having said all that, if we don't see substantial movement on the political front, we should not continue to support what's happening there.
I mean, when you go around and shake 10,000 hands and smile 10 million times till your cheeks hurt, do you gain mentally from that?
No, I think what you gain from the experience is a better understanding about what really matters. It's not, you know, the first time I ran for president, I spent an awful lot of, this is the truth, an awful lot of time worrying about how good a candidate I was. Was I making a good speech, or was I, it's just not what I think about these days. I think that anybody who's seriously thinking, to be my advice to anybody who's considering running, ought to be thinking about the job they want to do as president. instead of focusing on how the crowds respond to you and whether everybody seems to love you. That's not the test for being president. The test for being president is, are you the best person to occupy the Oval Office and be the leader of the free world? Because literally the future of the world is at stake here. This is not about popularity and excitement.
The trouble is that some people say yes to that when they're wrong.
That's true.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the candidates don't decide. The American people decide.
You know, the truth of the matter is, we, you and me, together, we have an extraordinary opportunity in front of us right now. It's just laying there waiting for us to take advantage of it. We can lift this country up again. We can make people proud to be Americans again. We can restore this view of America as this great shining light and symbol of freedom that the rest of the world actually looks up to. But in order to do it, we're going to have to lead. And we can't wait for somebody else to do it. The people we've been waiting for are us. And you and I need to go out there with strength and energy and passion and fight for what we believe in and not wait for somebody else to do it, to show this country what we're made of, and in the process show the world what America is really all about and the kind of strength and values that all of us believe in. Thank you all very much. God bless you. It's my honor to be with you today. Thank you.